And racing up towards the line is another whiz-bang 2-year-old for Aidan O'Brien. It's Charles Darwin.
Field of Gold and Colin Keane, the gold standard in the St James's Palace.
Get It is all out from £10, racing up towards the line. Holcomb Bay near side. Get It, get it! Get It has got it.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Racing PodBlast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aitken from Narron-the-Field. And we're at Doncaster this week, covering 3 races from the St Leger Day, with all 3 races live on ITV, and we're getting our usual in-depth coverage here on the PodBlast. We'll start you off straight into it with the 1 mile PJ Towey handicap due off at 1:15 on Saturday. Ben, welcome along, mate. Great to hear you again. And can you start us off with that one?
Can do, Tony. Morning. With the PJ Towey handicap. 15 currently entered for this straight 1 mile handicap. It wouldn't be a strong trends race for me, but it is a race that has favoured three-year-olds recently. That age group have won 6 of the last 10 and 4 of the last 5 renewals. The last 10 winners have also been top rated in official ratings, or no more than £10 below the top rated. 2 near the top of the market, Treble T and Hawksbill. They meet those very loose race trends, as does Supido. I'd also pull Cash and Point of Contact onto my shortlist for the race. They both meet a couple of angles that I've got plugged in. Treble T, he looks likely to start as favourite for this. He's trained by Simon Crisford, and he's a trainer that does well this time of year with his handicappers. And Treble T, he actually flags up on an angle I've got for Simon Crisford. My angle is Crisford with his handicappers in September to November, top rated or no more than £5 below the top rated, and horses with 0 to 5 previous handicap starts and wearing no headgear. Since 2020, with those types, Crisford is 44 wins, 23 placed from 115 qualifiers, 38% win strike rate, and almost 110 points profit. Treble T, he's gone very close on his last 2 starts and probably a winner in waiting. He is priced up as such, though, at around 9 to 4, Treble T. Hawksbill, he's also a 3-year-old. He's got a few more starts in the bank than Treble T does, though. For all, he is still unexposed in handicap. He's only had 4 previous handicap starts. He's another that's gone very close on his last 2 runs. He ran a clear best at Chester last time out and only just failed to reel in the front runner that day. He's also likely a winner in waiting as well, I would say, and worth consideration here. Hawksbill. Cash for David Simcock and James Spencer. He's an interesting one. He's a 6-year-old making his handicap debut after 12 starts. And he's only won once in his career today, and that was on his career debut back in 2021. Probably not the most straightforward of horses, but he's down to a mark of 101 now. I can see why they've been tempted by handicaps. Simcock, David Simcock, also does well at Doncaster in similar races to this. Doncaster 3-year-old plus handicaps over 1 mile or further in July to October, where Simcock is 11 winners in 2 places from just 27 qualifiers, 41% win strike rate and over 33 points profit. Simcock also has a string in decent nick just now, 4 winners from his last 6 runners and 5 winners from his last 10. And Cash is just niggling away at me in this one. He's catching my eye a bit. And Point of Contact is the other I'll mention from my shortlist. He qualifies on a Andrew Balding, PJ McDonald angle I have. That angle is when Balding and McDonald team up at Group 2 level or below, with horses running off breaks of between 21 and 56 days. The stats for that angle read 30 winners and 22 places from 102 qualifiers, 29% win strike rate and almost 110 points profit. Point of Contact is still very much unexposed coming into this race. This is only his 7th clear start, only his 4th in a handicap. He went close in a competitive handicap at the Ebor meeting last time out, and I'd be surprised if his mark of 88 proves to be the ceiling of his abilities. It's an open-looking race, definitely open-looking, so I'm going to take a crack at 2 in this. and that too are Point of Contact at around 9 to 1, 10 to 1, and I'm also going to take a swing at Cash at around 10 to 1. So Point of Contact and Cash for me. Tony, what you got for this handicap?
Yeah, good shouts there, mate. They're both been back this week in the last 24 hours as well. Cash 16s into 10s and Point of Contact 12s into 10s there as well. So, yeah, an interesting one there. And, of course, handicap debut for Cash after running in listed and Group 2 company as well. That's an interesting one there. I'm a little bit closer to the top of the market, unfortunately, Ben, with Treble T. I do like him. O'Shea Murphy in the saddle, Simon and Ed Crisford there as well, but I think he'll take a lot of beating. But my two are the Great Chieftain, his 4-year-old, for Oliver Cole. He's around 8 to 1. Ross O'Ryan is in the saddle. He brought a double in May earlier in the spring at Newmarket and Haydock, and then came a little bit unstuck at Goodwood and the after Glorious Goodwood, late August at Goodwood, over a mile, finishing 5th of 11, 5.5 lengths behind Tribal Chief. I think he's better than that. Effort suggests Great Chieftain, who's a distance winner in the colours of Fitri here, can go well at around 8 to 1. And Hawksbill, who's got a bit of second-itis. He was second at in the spring at Goodwood. He was second of 10, beaten a nose by Sir Paul Ramsey as the 100 to 30 favourite in August. And also last month, right at the end of the month, he was second of 10, 1 length behind Yennefer, over 7.5 furlongs of Good to Firm at Chester. I think that's good form, and I think his price, an each-way price of 7 to 1, is a little bit big for Hawksbill, for Hugo Palmer, Tom Marquand in the saddle. And my other one, Great Chieftain, who's also been backed in the last 24 hours, 10s into 8s for Oliver Cole and Ross O'Ryan. Noticeably, that Jamie Spencer's taken the ride on Cash rather than the Fitri hair colours of Great Chieftain as well. That could be something into that. So I'm sure Ben will have his thoughts on that. 225 at Doncaster, Portland Handicap, Class 2, over 5.5 furlongs. Ben, what do you fancy in the Portland?
The Portland looks its usual tricky puzzle to try and solve. A big field, straight track blast, so worth looking to see where the pace is coming from. And I have the potential early pace horses drawn in stalls 8, 11, 14, 21 and 22, which would suggest that being drawn middle or high will be a positive in the Portland this year, and historically that has also been the case. Only 3 of the last 27 winners of the Portland broke from quarter 1 of the draw, which is the low numbers or the far side as you watch the race on the TV. So historic stats suggest middle or high is best, and the pace map this year suggests middle or high is possibly the best place to be drawn. With regards to a shortlist this year, I settled on the following: Diablo Rojo, Rosario, Air Force One, and Addison Gray. Diablo Rojo is an unexposed 3-year-old making handicap debut and stable debut, this being his first run for Kevin Foy. And he has one standout piece of form on his CV this season when finishing a half-length second to Big Mojo in a Group 3 at Ascot in April. Big Mojo has obviously boosted that form plenty since then. A next second in the July Cup and a win last week in the Group 1 Sprint Cup at Haydock. It's not hard to think that Diablo Rojo could be ahead of his mark on 103 for his handicap debut here. Rosario, he's in better form than his bare form figures suggest. He's been dealt a poor draw on a few occasions since winning at Goodwood in May, and also had his hood removed late at Ascot 2 starts back at the Shergar Cup meeting. He can start slowly, but he's drawn around plenty of early pace horses here, and he is a strong finisher, so the early pace horses should give Rosario something to aim for in the middle to late part of this race, and I think he'll be finishing with a late rattle here over 5.5 furlongs. Air Force One, he's another that's been in good form on recent starts and he's been running some big races and valuable sprints at York since joining the Old Royd Yard this season. Posted a career best last Sunday when only going down by neck and he gets to run off the same mark here. First time blinkers go on to replace the visor he's been wearing recently. He won when the visor was applied for the first time, so they'll be hoping the blinkers do the same thing here for Air Force One. And Addison Gray is the other that catches the eye. He's an unexposed 3-year-old, having only his 6th career start and only his 3rd in a handicap. He was a winner at Newmarket last time out and looks one with plenty more still to offer. And his trainer, Clive Cox, he has his fair share of winners at the St Ledger meeting, especially on the straight track. 10 winners from 56 runners since 2005, 18% win strike rate. So he'll have Addison Gray tuned up for this. Of that bunch, I'm going to side with Rosario. I think the way this race should play out will suit him. He's on a winnable mark, and 12-1 or bigger looks decent value to me. So Rosario for me in the Portland. Tony, what you got for the Portland handicap?
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? And a couple of notes I made here as well, Ben. I don't know what you think about this as well. The event was founded in 1855, once referred to as the Portland Plate. The initial course began across the road from Doncaster Racecourse, and it started at a coaching inn named the Red House. And it included a left-hand turn approximately halfway through the race. Eventually, the committee of Doncaster decided to move it to the racecourse and put it on the straight course. And the most successful jockey in the history of the Portland, what a name. I had to make a note of this. What a name. It might become an alias, I think. He rode Irish Elegance to victory in 1919, and then he went on to win it a further 4 times. Rosemary's Pet in 1934, and the jockey's name, Brownie Carslake.
Nice.
What a name,
Brownie.
eh?
You ever known a Brownie?
I haven't, no.
No, neither have I.
Brownie Carslake, fantastic. I might do a AI DJ and call him Brownie Carslake, I think. That's a good idea, isn't it?
AI DJ. Yeah.
All right, Rhythm and Hooves is worth a mention for Robert Cowell and Billy Loughnane, and also Venture Capital, course winner, beaten favourite last time out at Ascot, finishing 3rd of 10 behind Vintage Clarets for Kevin Ryan and Shane Gray. But the two I'm going for, Roman Dragon for Hugo Palmer Chino at around 20-1. He won at Chester in August last month. He beat Celadine, who's highly thought of. Celadine beat Celadine and Nose and 8 other rivals as well, and then ran well in defeat in the Hong Kong Jockey Club Whirlpool Handicap, Heritage Handicap at York, the EBA meeting, over 5.5 furlongs on Good to Firm, finishing 6th of 20, but he was only beaten 3 lengths there at 28-1. He had a visor on that day, and he keeps the visor on, and he was 3 lengths behind Trefort, finishing 6th of 20. So Roman Dragon, hoping from stall 6, can get a good pull into the race once again, and it is actually Trefort that I'm going for as well. Charles Hill, Kieran Schumacher has had a pretty solid and consistent season, starting here, winning here in June, beating 8 rivals half length, and Smart Vision as the 3-1 favourite. He then won at Ripon on Ladies' Day in June, beating 8 rivals a short head. 11-4 favourite again. He ran well at Doncaster over 5 furlongs, finishing 3rd of 6, only beaten 1.5 lengths, and then he was 2nd at Windsor. Very dodgy track as well as Windsor, so he's gone well there. And he was last seen winning at York in that Hong Kong Jockey Club Whirlpool Handicap, Heritage Handicap, beating 19 rivals and the man ahead at odds of 7-1. I think his odds of 9-1 is a little too big for a course winner who's also won over a similar trip. Trefort for me in the Portland there. On to the 3 o'clock here, Ben. The Park Stakes Group 2, over 7 furlongs. What do you reckon for the Park?
Yeah, Park Stakes, a trio of race trends caught my eye for this one. The last 10 winners all meeting the following. Rated 110 or higher, previously won at group level and had 2 to 5 starts in the current season. 3 of this year's field meet those stats. Shadow of Light, Quino and Audience. Shadow of Light already seems to be becoming a bit of a puzzling horse for connections as well. They don't seem to know what his best trip is. This season, he's been over a mile, 6 furlongs and 7 furlongs, and again goes for 7 furlongs here. I actually thought his fourth in the Prix-Jean Prat in France over 7 furlongs was a decent effort. And the form has been working out well since. And I think this may well prove to be his best trip, 7 furlongs. Don't particularly want to be backing him at sub 2-1 right now, though. I'm happy enough to watch him at those prices. The audience probably isn't too dissimilar to Shadow Light in that they don't seem to really know what to do with him right now. It's been relatively disappointing this season. I think he's a much better horse off breaks of 6 weeks or more anyway. So despite him meeting the race trends, I'm also happy to leave him alone here, which leaves me with Quino. He's a little out of his depth in the Group 1 City of York Stakes last time out, and he's better than that effort suggests. He'll be happier with this drop back in class, and he does get his prime conditions to shoot for on Saturday. Group 2 level and below in May to September, and a break of 28 days or less, where Quino is 10 wins from 12 starts, which are all 10 of his turf wins. Marco Gianni coming back on board is also a positive, as he's 4 wins in a place from his 6 rides on Quino, and I think 10-1 and bigger looks decent value for the 5-year-old. So it is Quino for me. Tony, what you got in the Park Stakes?
And it's Quino for me.
Oh, nice.
Love it. Yes. And another one that ran badly last time out as well, but I'll come to that. But Quino, distance winner. Yeah, I won't repeat what you've just said, Ben, was absolutely spot on. He did win at York in a Group 3 criterion, and then he wasn't disgraced, 4th of 10, beaten 5 1/4 lengths at Glorious Goodwood. Yes, he was a little out of sorts last time out in a Group 1, which is well above his threshold. But Quinault, for me as well, at around 10 to 12-1. And also I'm sticking Keep the Faith with, he's been beaten this season, but he hasn't been beaten far. 5 lengths, 4 3/4 lengths. Audience for John and Thady Gosden to bounce back to form. He's around 18-1 at the minute. Rab Havlin is in the saddle, won the Lockinge and the Lennox last year. And he's found it difficult in 3 runs in this country at Haydock in a Group 3. Glorious Goodwood, who is 3rd of 10 in the Lennox Stakes, and also last time seen in the City of York Stakes, finishing last but 1. Just in front of Quinault. So the 9th and the 10th place of the City of York Stakes we're going for here. Quite interesting that 4 of the last 6 winners of this race, their last race was in the City of York Stakes before coming on to win here. Sir Dancelot in 2019, Glorious Journey in 2021, Kinross 2022 and Sandrine in 2023. All ran in the City of York Stakes before coming on to win this Park Stakes at Doncaster. So fingers crossed for a couple of biggies there. Quinault and Audience for me in that 3 o'clock. Thanks very much for listening to the latest edition of the Racing PodBlast. Very best of luck with your bets at Doncaster this weekend. You can catch me on 3B's Radio every morning from Monday to Friday, and you can catch more from Ben over on narrowingthefield.co.uk. Thanks very much, Ben, and we'll see you all soon.